Welcome to the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. We are at Week 6 on the Gruely True Sports Network. The CFL Weekly Pick'em Show was brought to you by Replenishing Care, the future of sports medicine. If you want to find out more about them and their PEMF machine, go to thegruelytruth.net, click on the banner at the top of the page. I'm your host for the Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in my co-host. First up, Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Schmitty?
I'm doing good. Getting ready for my travels to Boston this coming weekend, and hope it's a fun weekend.
All right, and of course, a man that needs no introduction into CFL, won 5 Grey Cups. Help me welcome to the show, Robert Drummond. How you doing, Robert?
Doing pretty good. I mean, I always say after 15 years of professional football, every day I get a chance to wake up is a good day, so I'm not complaining.
Oh, hell, professional football or not, any day you get a chance to wake up, it's a good day.
That is true. I totally agree.
All right, guys, this is my takeaway from this last week. I mean, this is about as bad as I've seen CFL football. I think we've got Calgary, and then when I did my power rankings this week, it was like Calgary was number 1. Then 2 through 8 could have been anybody. And then number 9 was, of course, Montreal. I mean, Brian, right now, this looks like it's Calgary's to lose. I'm sure a couple of these teams are going to step up. But as of right now, nobody outside of Calgary is really playing that well.
Yeah, very strange week. Nobody, and I mean nobody, with the exception of Calgary, played well. But again, to use Robert's line, it's early. But we are getting to that point where you can't use that excuse anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks who steps up, who falls back. But again, look at these injuries that we've had. Now it starts to come. Who can step up through these injuries? Who gets healthy the quickest. There's a lot of factors right now that we're going to see.
Yeah, and the first game we're going to talk about is that. It's the Calgary Stampeders, 27-3 win over the Red Blacks. Bo Levi Mitchell left the contest in the second quarter, but the game was over by then. They're up 17-0. And right now, Robert, this is the best team, I think, just because of the defense and the way they're playing.
Oh, they're head and shoulders above everybody else right now. I mean, Calgary is the most dominant team in the CFL and have been for years. They just haven't finished it with consistent Grey Cup wins. A lot can happen in the CFL season. I mean, I've said that all the time. It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. With injuries and team chemistry breaking up and things of that nature. As long as Calgary doesn't go out there, and get cocky and get ahead of himself, because David did beat Goliath. I mean, yeah. It's as you said, it's theirs to lose. Right now, they're in the driver's seat, but there's a lot of football season left.
Well, we saw David beat Goliath in the last 2 Grey Cups.
Yes, we did.
When I look at this team, though, Robert, this is a team that can withstand injuries. I think they could, because Bo Levi Mitchell is questionable, I think, for this week coming into it. But this team, the way they run the ball with Don Jackson, who's over 100 yards again. Nick Arbuckle comes in as 8 for 14, 84 yards and a touchdown. He's not Bo Levi Mitchell, but this is a team that is built, much like we've compared them to the Patriots for the last 3 years. They're built to withstand this.
Yeah, I mean they're stingy. The word I'm looking for on defense. They're very, very good. Very good, but better than good. Better than average on special teams. And as I said, Doug Booty used to always tell me. I mean, Doug Booty was the conductor of our offense when I was in Toronto. He always would tell me, Robert, just get us first downs. Just move the ball from down the field and let me take care of the rest. And that's all I did. And that's what Bo Levi Mitchell is doing with this ground game. A ground game controls the clock. It controls the tempo, and a big run can take the heart out of any defense. If you can just constantly just pound the ball at somebody, people don't realize this. I mean, passing is great. It's flash. It's quick. It's woo. It's highlights. But when you run the ball, you take the identity, you take the heart and mantra away from a defense. And they realize that especially in 3-down football in the CFL, running the ball constantly, running at first down, running at second down, getting a first down, running at first down, running at second down, getting a first down. that's demoralizing to a defense. That's demoralizing to a team. You know, and Bo Levi Mitchell, he understands that. What a heck of a quarterback. And I hope he can play this week because, you know, it's going to be interesting with him the rest of the year. If he can stay healthy, as I said before, it's always Calgary to lose. You know, they're the most dominant team. They're the New England Patriots of the CFL.
All right, Schmidt, we look at Ottawa, and this wasn't just getting shut down in one phase of the game. I mean, if you look at it, William Powell, 8 carries, 17 yards. Trevor Harris throws 2 interceptions, throws for less than 100 yards. They just got dominated. And the bad thing for the whole CFL is I think Ottawa's a pretty good team.
Yeah, they really are. And again, we've seen with any team, you're going to have your bad weeks. You just hope you don't have too many of them. I'm not real worried about Ottawa right now. I think they'll be fine, but it just goes to show you how Calgary can just go into any place and dominate. They've just always had that ability, and this was a great example. They came in, game plan was sound, everything was executed. Here we go, and now it's going to be interesting to see how Ottawa comes out of this week. I think that's going to be a real key.
Yeah, and our next game up, we've got Riley's revenge. Edmonton, Mike Riley proved he's still the master, besting his former protege, James Franklin, who'd taken him the week before in a game. DeQuil Williams recorded 123 receiving yards and a touchdown, while Riley threw for 258 yards and 2 scores. And as I said earlier, the Eskimos avenged the Week 4 loss against the Argos. The one thing that has stood out to me, Schmitty, and I know you were upset, you were worried about it at the start of the year, so was I, and that's Edmonton's defense, which seems to be, it's either playing better or the CFL offenses just aren't very good right now.
Yeah, they've the first couple weeks they struggled, and then all of a sudden they've found their footing. They've got that consistency going, and we're seeing now that for one of the first times that I can remember that actually Edmonton can win a game with their defense, which is something that we've talked about that before. Edmonton has been historically, they got to score 30. Now, they're not in that situation where they have to put up crazy points. They can win a defensive battle, and we're seeing that now. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the season, because I like what I see from their defense, but I'm just still not 100% sold.
Yeah, and I would think that, Robert, if you're a Toronto Argonauts fan, this isn't all bad, because if you look at the way their conference is going, I think they're right in the thick of this. James Franklin played well, 26 for 36, almost 300 yards. S.J. Green, 10 receptions for 131 yards. I think the difference in this game was just Toronto's inability to run the ball. They held Wilder to 12 carries, 26 yards. But I still think this is a team that's going to make noise before this season's over.
Toronto's definitely going to make noise. I mean, they have a chip on their shoulder where they're the defending Grey Cup champion. Until somebody beats them, they're still the champion. So that's going to factor in later on in the season. No, Toronto didn't have a great game. I would expect it more from Wilder, but at some point, if I'm a defense coordinator, and you have Franklin in the game, it's a new quarterback, new into the system, it's not Ricky Ray, of course I'm going to put schemes in to confuse him, and make them rely on the run game, which didn't work. So, you're going to stack the box, take the run away, and then Toronto got frustrated, and my hat's always off to, a defense coordinator that can go out there and game plan against, someone who's not as, I won't say intelligent, that's the word I'm looking for, but not as seasoned, as someone like a Ricky Ray. So, it was a definitely great game for Edmonton to go out there, and Riley, with Mike Riley, at any given point, as long as he's in the game, Edmonton has a chance to win it all, because he's that type of quarterback. And as you said, with their defense playing much better, especially the secondary, because it was interesting to watch, because Toronto, I think, will get their ship righted. I mean, I don't know if they can without Ricky Ray, but it'll be interesting to watch them the rest of the year, because, as I said before, this is a marathon, not a race. People don't get that. I mean, it's a lot of football left, is what I'm trying to say.
but I think also, Robert, with Ray going down, this isn't like the last year or two when he went down. James Franklin showed that he is a good quarterback, I think, at least.
Yes. Yes, a very, very good quarterback, but you're going up against some very, very good teams, that can scheme. I mean, if you're new to a system, you get a little leeway because teams don't know about you, and they can't game plan for you. But if they've seen you before and they understand you and they watch film from week to week, then they can game plan against you. And one of the hardest things in the CFL, and Damon Allen and Doug Flutie would always tell me this, is for a quarterback to drop back in the pocket and throw a wide field out, because a CFL field is 65 yards wide. An NFL field is 52 yards wide. So that it's like that's on the mind of a quarterback all the time. You have to have a strong arm. You have to have an understanding of the game. And newer guys coming in don't quite have an understanding of the game. Veteran guys, as they get older, they get it. Newer guys, they don't. And defensive coordinators understand this, and they game plan and they scheme against that. And it started to show. Will he be better? Oh, he'll be a whole lot. Franklin will be a very, very good quarterback in this league. But for right now, he's taking his lumps and he's understanding and trying to win the game.
All right, talk about veteran quarterbacks that know their way around the field. Travis Lulay pieced together a memorable comeback to give the Lions their second win of the season, defeating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 20-17. Lulay finished the night passing 326 yards while completing 28 of his 41 attempts as he led the Leos to their second win of the season. And this is a game that I didn't see the fourth quarter. I admit it. It was 17-7. Winnipeg was shutting them down. I went to bed. I wake up the next day and find out that Lulay led this comeback. And right now, Brian, the way the CFL is, you can't count out the Lions either. The only question is, can you keep Lulay healthy?
That's going to be the biggest question, keeping him healthy. And even with that, Lulay has had success before with making comebacks and doing that in his career. But is this a team that can challenge, for a playoff spot? It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not convinced. Hey, it was a great comeback, but I'm not convinced this team is consistent enough to be able to be a real factor.
Yeah, and my question is, what do we make of Winnipeg, Robert? This is a team I thought was one of the best teams. I still do when you look at the roster. Matt Nichols had a very uncharacteristic game of 3 interceptions. Andrew Harris still ran for 139 yards. I still think they're one of the better teams. I think this is more of just kind of an anomaly.
I mean, you said something to me that rang volumes to me, what Andrew Harris did. I mean, as I said, and I've always said, a good ground game will always give a team an advantage over a team that just passes the ball. I mean, Andrew Harris is one heck of a running back. I really like him, and I think this is more of Winnipeg. I mean, I won't say they took this game lightly, but it's just one of those games they let get away. And these are the kind of games that championship teams don't lose. So Winnipeg has to go back and do a lot of soul searching within themselves and find out, how did we lose this game? And sit back and watch film. You're upset, like you said, 17-7, and you lose the game. In a close game. But these are the type of games that championship teams win. And for Winnipeg to go to that next level, which I think they have a challenge to be, they have to win games like this.
All right, so let's look at all the Week 6 games. We're going to start off with the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This is a rematch of a game a couple weeks ago. Saskatchewan surprised Hamilton. Brian, can they do it again?
Yeah, I think they can. I definitely think they can. And I'm definitely gonna hitch my wagon to Hamilton in this one. I definitely think they can.
All right. I think they can, but I'm going to go with Hamilton also. I don't think Masoli is going to have another bad game. I think he bounces back and wins this one. What do you think, Robert?
I think Masoli bounces back and wins this one also. He's just a veteran quarterback. As I said before, experience means a lot in the CFL, especially from the quarterback position. I mean, it just means so much. You just calm all the younger guys around you down. I was fortunate enough to play with 3 Hall of Famers, Damon Allen, Tracy Ham, and Doug Flutie in the CFL. And I just remember just having a veteran quarterback take away the talent, but just someone who understood the game, and just someone who understood that, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but let's try and win most of the battles and things of that nature. And Masoli's just that type of quarterback. It seems just to relax those guys, and you have a good team around him now, and it's just, I think Hamilton's going to win the game. I do.
All right, the next game is the BC Lions at the Ottawa Red Blacks. I'll go ahead and start this one off. I'm going with the Red Blacks. I think this is a really good team as long as they're not playing Calgary. So I'm going to go with Trevor Harris to have a big game. I don't have as much confidence. I have more confidence probably in Lule than I would Jennings. But I really, with them being in the West, I think they're in trouble for the rest of the season. I'm going to go with the Red Blacks. Robert?
I'm going with the Red Blacks. I think the BC Lions they got a gift. I don't think the BC Lions are a very, very good team. Right now they just happen to, and I have a friend that always says even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So BC just happened to get a lucky win last week against Winnipeg. But I'd go with Ottawa.
All right, Brian, do you agree?
Yes, I do. I'm definitely going with Ottawa. Look, it just comes down to a point where they're going to be mad. They're going to be looking for a little bit of redemption, and I just don't think that that BC is consistent enough to be able to withstand what they're going to get in Ottawa.
All right, next game, a game near and dear to your heart, Robert. The Toronto Argonauts host the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Who you got here, Robert?
Ooh, I can't see Winnipeg losing back-to-back games. As I said before, Andrew Harris. It's just. Granted, I know I'm a running back. I know I show favoritism to a running back, but I know how much it controls the ground. It controls the game. It controls the clock. It controls every aspect of the game. You can demoralize a team by just simply punishing the ball at them. And with a running back like that in the backfield, it's just. I don't think Toronto will be able to withstand. I think they put up a good fight, but I got to go with Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I think, Schmidt, this is one of the biggest games of the week because both of these teams have looked good at times but have struggled overall. And I think this is a big game for either one of these teams to get. Who do you think gets it, Brian?
I think Winnipeg is gonna get this. I think they are just a solid team. A long season, everybody has their off weeks, but I just think they're too solid to lose back-to-back games.
All right.
Go ahead. I'll say one thing, If Franklin goes out there and has an attitude that I used to have in games sometimes, of it's like, what do I have to lose? It could make for a very, very interesting game because he could get hot because he's a very, very good quarterback. Yeah, but he's a good quarterback, So if he goes out with that attitude of what do I have to lose, it could be interesting.
Yeah, and you got James Wilder on the other side coming off a game where he carried the ball 12 times for 26 yards. I think this game is a toss-up. I'm going to go with Winnipeg, but I'm not real comfortable with it. I think this is a 50-50 game. Next up, we get the Montreal Alouettes. Well, basically, we've got the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots, but Tom Brady may not play because he's hurt. Bo Levi Mitchell is questionable. If there's ever a week where it's all right to be questionable, it's when they play Montreal. I'll start this off and say I think Calgary wins this game by 40 or 50 points. They may shut Montreal out, Brian.
Yeah. Boy, they're just so bad. But it's so hard to, pick Montreal for anything.
You sound like you're wanting to pick Montreal in this game, doesn't he, Robert?
No. He's crazy to do that. Montreal, they're in a lot of trouble. You can tell just from watching them play. They're starting to point fingers in the locker room. They're starting to not believe in themselves. Players are starting to not have, faith and, encouraging commitment in the coaches. And you can just tell by body language and movements, they get down by a touchdown. And I can tell you right now what's going on in their heads. Here we go again. It's the same thing for those young men. Week after week after week after week, they hear the same thing. Yes, they'll be riled up for this game the first minute, but as soon as Calgary make a big play, they go right back to what they've been doing the entire season, that losing mentality, and that's not good.
All right, so, Robert, I'm assuming you're taking Calgary. Brian, you taking Calgary?
Taking Calgary.
All right, so here's my final question. There's an announcement today that Three Down Nations Justin Dunk said that Edmonton Eskimos negotiation list player Terrell Owens has activated his 10-day signing window. Robert, do you think there's any way T.O. plays in the CFL this year?
1,000%. His ego is way too big. Terrell Owens wants to prove a point to everybody. Terrell Owens wants to prove that he's some godly world superstar wide receiver. It's like, Terrell, we know you're a good player. It's like no one has ever argued about your talent. No one has ever argued about your commitment to being one of the best players out there. What everyone argues about is your attitude toward everything you approach. He doesn't get that. I mean, arrogance is the downfall of all man. And Terrell Owens, as great as he is a player, he's just an arrogant gentleman.
Yeah, I don't see how this would work anyways. It's a totally different game, I think, for a wide receiver. He's 44 years old. Brian, and this is the thing, he's going into the Hall of Fame this year, so it's not like he's been disrespected. Yeah. So, Brian, thoughts?
Yeah, this is another, I think, more about publicity than it is anything. I certainly hope, that they're not serious about bringing him in. I really do. But, we'll see.
Brian,
what's that?
I was going to say, it's all to prove a point because he wasn't the first ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL draft. That, I can still play, I'm still good. No one, as a former player, 15 years in the freshman league, it's frustrating to see players like that who are so talented that ruin their name and reputation off of ego. It drives me crazy. I mean, is he talented enough to still play? But as you said, he's 44 years old. Let the young men play the game. Enjoy the fame of things, what you did. You're getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Relax and enjoy it.
And I think it comes down to this, Robert. I think it's 1,000% he would play. I just don't think there's a chance that Edmonton's going to add him actually to a game day roster.
I don't know. I mean, the guy's he's still in great shape. He can still run. He's still an athlete. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, it would be interesting to see Mike Riley with Terrell Owens, though.
The guy can still play. I mean, he keeps himself in great shape. He's a workout warrior.
Well,
so that's
the big thing to Owens about me is he played for the Bengals one year, and the one thing that stood out, he may have been a pain in the ass off the field, but I never questioned how hard he played on the field.
He's going to give you 110% on the field. He always has, always will. It's just his off the field and his antics that makes him into the type of person who I did not like being around, when I played.
All right, Brian, any final thoughts?
Looking forward to another good week of football. So really hope this is a big week. I really would love to see some great games. I feel like we kind of left a couple of decent games last week, but for the most part, I just feel like we kind of didn't get to see some of the things we really have grown accustomed to seeing in the CFL.
All right, Robert.
I'm looking to this week. I'm looking to see if the Calgary Montreal game doesn't become a video game with Calgary scoring, breaking a CFL record in points scored. At some point, as a former player, you almost feel bad for Montreal because as I told you before, I can see it in the body language of players. I lived it. It's like they just don't have confidence in themselves that they can beat or stop anybody. If Calgary starts scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, Montreal's going to give up because that's what they've been doing. That's what they're used to. That's what they're accustomed to. And Calgary's going to score a lot of points. Bo Levi Mitchell there or not. And I just hope it's a competitive week this week. It was an enigma. The following week of some of the games, but I just hope it's a competitive week, especially that game. You like to watch. The one thing I always say as a competitor, I have my favorite teams, but I still always root for teams just to play well and just to do well. And I just hope Montreal just goes out there and gives a good game and puts up a good fight.
Agreed completely. I want to remind everybody from now on, you can also hear The Grueling Truth. You can hear this show every week, but you can also hear it when it's not live on Spotify now, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. So now literally you can hear us anywhere. Tomorrow night we'll be live with the Inside Boxing Weekly Show at 9 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night. And Survive in Advance tomorrow. We got a NASCAR special. We've got a NASCAR writer coming in because Steve Risley, my co-host, likes to talk about NASCAR. I'm not a big fan. I think it's really boring. But I'll sit there and listen to Steve talk to the guy because it'll make Steve happy. All right, guys, make sure you catch us next Tuesday night on the CFL Weekly Show. So for Robert Drummond, Brian Schmidt, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.